Hi, I'm Nicole Conn, and I'm here today with Brad Szollose of Awakened Nation. Very excited to be here.
A huge shift is taking place on planet Earth. People seem to be waking up. Tired of the way things used to be, they are creating something brand new and changing the world we live in. My name is Brad Szollose, and I get to sit down with the next generation of idea makers, the disruptors, and the game changers. Everyday people, just like you and me, from all over, who are doing amazing things to Awakened Nation.
Ladies and gentlemen, I am excited to have today's guest on. As you know, we like filmmakers, documentary filmmakers, people in the film and Hollywood industry. And this is not going to disappoint. You're going to have a lot of fun today. Nicole Conn, welcome to the show.
Yeah, very, very happy to be here.
I am too. You came, this is rare. I get a guest that's recommended by 3 to 4 people. So I'm sort of like, well, okay, what's going to go on here today? But let me read a little bit from your bio, and I'm going to give a little bit of a teaser here on this because your entire career is based on romance and piano playing, I believe. So, um, inspired by her mother, a classically trained pianist who lived, recorded, and worked in Morristown, New Jersey, and Randolph, New York, LA filmmaker and author Nicole Conn decided to turn her attention from the big screen to the pen. Descending Thirds, and this looks really good. Descending Thirds, published by Story Merchant Books, audiobook soon to follow, is a gripping book of ambition, betrayal, and the fragile line between art and integrity. Hear how I say that? It's like Don LaFontaine, set with the backdrop of classical music. It's basically romance. You are this person who loves romance, and I love that about you. A work of fiction. The book is perfect for anyone who has ever chased a dream or questioned the price of success. And I'm also very excited to have you on because you are quite the influencer in the LGBTQ plus cinema. And it resonates with audiences worldwide, the work you're doing. And we're going to be talking about that later on because we have a special surprise for everybody. Nicole Conn, please, I welcome you to Awakened Nation.
I said I'm very, very happy to be here. I love that you created your whole sort of platform based on your time at the campfire site.
Yes.
That so much. That is such a screenplay moment.
You know what it was? It was, and you probably remember this, in the 70s, you could talk about anything. And nobody was judging you, and nobody was saying, "That's crazy." You know, we talk about UFOs, we talk about, romance, we talk about politics. Nobody got upset the way they are today. So, I thank you for looking into that a little bit. But I wanted to talk with you about how you got started. You were learning to play the piano, but you were being driven by something else. Let's start there.
I think I think in the very beginning of time, I started writing short stories in the third grade, and I became a storyteller. And I don't really care what medium it's delivered in, as long as it is about really, really sort of adult storytelling with romance as a main vibe to the storylines. Because I believe romance is one of the most important things that we have in our life today, and it's one of the things that makes the living struggle worth it. So
Yeah.
I feel like romance gets such a bad rap, and I think it's the one thing that we're all starving for on a daily basis. So that's one of the reasons I sort of focused my work on that. But I love storytelling, whether it's by novel, by film, by documentary, or television show, and I've done them all.
Right.
It's just delivering quality content to people who are really hungry for it.
I also think it's for you especially is telling the outlier story. It really isn't the mainstream sometimes, whether it's gay, lesbian film, we have a whole Hasidim Jewish film culture. We have Arabic film culture. These are sort of, in the United States that we would call them fringe or outliers, but in other countries they're mainstream. And so as Americans, we have a tendency to see things from our own lens, but we see this wonderful growing ability for people to get the message out, the outlier message. I want to talk about that a little bit because probably when you started, you didn't just walk up into Hollywood and say, "Hey, I want to make films that focus on gay and lesbian relationships." That didn't happen back in the day. So, how have you seen this progress shift and change for you?
Well, it's interesting. I started back in the late '90s, mid to late '90s. I started with novel writing. I had a free book deal with Simon Schuster, so I started
Hmm.
in that medium. And they were also just carving out an LGBT division to Simon Schuster, and so they bought two of my books that were lesbian themed. But I also had been exposed to LGBTQ film festivals, and I was at the Evergreen College Film Festival in 90, I think 91. And I saw Desert Cards, which was a lesbian themed film by Donna Deitch. And I, the feeling I got in that theater was so intense and so pervasive in me that on the drive home, all I cared about was learning how to bring that feeling to other people. And
Mm,
so that's how I began my career. I'm autodidactic. I had film school friends who went to film school and spent a lot of money and never made a film. And I just decided to go do it by hook or by crook.
yeah.
And very happy that I did.
I have to ask this because I know the first film ever saw. What was your first film?
First film I ever saw
Yeah, very first.
that I remember well was probably The Wizard of Oz.
Wow.
Yeah. Remember back in the day when they showed it yearly?
Yes.
Hey, doing the intro?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the first like, whoa, kind of thing. Then I fell in love with Clark Gable in my early teens, and I watched every single black and white film I could. And that's
Frankly,
what I got
Scarlett.
my yeah, yeah, frankly, Scarlett.
My first film was The Sound of Music.
Oh, yeah.
My mother was a young mom. She had me when she was in her 20s, so I think she was going stir crazy in the house. She dragged me out way past my bedtime to go see The Sound of Music, and I distinctly remember this because 'cause I'm sitting my mom sat in the aisle, and I sat inside. I remember it's amazing what children remember. You probably have some memories like this as well. The curtains were gold, and back in the day, ladies and gentlemen, if you're younger than us, they would play the music, the intro music, and the curtains would open dramatically, and before that, they would show previews, and then the curtain would shut, and then they'd start it again. It was like a big production, and I remember I fell asleep, and then I'd wake up to the best musical parts. Like, I was out, and then I remember, Edelweiss, the puppet show. I remember them, all the songs, and these memories will inspire you. At least I think they do. Uh yeah. I think it's, amazing, Simon& and Schuster, um, wanted to work with you. I think that's, phenomenal. What was that like? 'Cause, a lot of us I've written business books, but I've had hybrid publishers. But what's it like when a publishing company really is interested in what you wanna do?
Well, it's fascinating because back then you could actually make a living selling books with your advances, and they would put you on tour. They'd put you on a full, 20 city tour, and
Right.
uh, it was, it was just so easy for me to have gotten that published. And I hate to say that because it then took me 25 years to get Descending Thirds published.
Right.
Publishing world 25 years later is completely different, and the way that you have to
Yeah.
have books is completely different. You have to get involved with Substack and Readsy and this and that and the other thing. And in my particular case, I'm also doing the audiobook because audiobooks outstrip regular books
Yeah.
massively at this point. And because it's about classical music, I've also been able to license a bunch of stock classical music to put in little snippets of the music as people read the music pieces that are in the book so that they can hear the gorgeousness that is classical music. And that's obviously
Wow.
also where romance lives in my heart. My mother is a classical pianist. Well, she stopped her career because she had us three girls. I used to lay under the piano and just listen to her play morning, noon, and night. It was like in my DNA. It fed me, and so it became always a part of any project. Meaning, the score for film is like the soul of the film. The score has to be exactly perfect, and that comes
Right.
from classical music background. So, yeah, it's been fun being able to be involved with Simon Schuster way back then. And then today, it's just like I said, a whole different ball game. You have to go beg for people to go give you reviews on Amazon and all that good stuff.
It is. It's a very different world. Uh, a friend of mine, Dove Barron, he has an amazing podcast, and it's listened to all over the world. He was a guy who fell off a cliff to his death, 120 feet to his death, and he lived. Yes, you're shaking. He lived, and he went on to tell this amazing story. And he got his PhD in some sort of discipline with psychology. And he's now one of the top speakers in the world. And he's Jewish, and he was invited into Iran to give this amazing speech for the UN. Yeah, powerful, powerful dude. Um, but he said his podcast is the number one podcast listened to by executives, and both of his podcasts actually. And guess what? He had a producer come to him and said, "You know what? If you had come to us 20 years ago, we'd give you $1 million a year contract." He said, "But today everybody's doing it." So
The thing. That's the thing. It's the internet has leveled the playing field in so many ways, but it's also created a situation where the artist has to be everything. They have to wear every
yeah,
hat. Distribution, marketing, accounting, you name it.
yeah, and they don't.
You have to probably do that for your own.
Oh yeah. Um, for those of you listening, I do have a few budding authors who listen to my show, and I can tell you, it's a very different ballgame nowadays. Even for me, I had my first book published in 2010, 2011, Liquid Leadership, and it was a business book. And I'm no slouch. I took one of the first .com companies public on Nasdaq, so I'm well known, and I'm already in different high level magazines. But even me, it was a hard sell to say, "Hey, let's do this." But here's where the market has changed. Professional tools are now in the hands of amateurs. That's number one. Number two, the internet has given you a built-in audience. And unless you have 100,000 followers and up, no one wants to listen to you. Fourth, there's something like 4 million books now self-published every year. It's probably higher. This is an old statistic. And let me tell you, 99% of them are horrible. There's typos throughout the entire book. Um, and so self-publishing is, Robert Kiyosaki, his Rich Dad, Poor Dad series, that got published because he ran around, he printed it himself, ran around and went to every radio station, podcast, you name it, and just started talking about this. And they said, "Well, where can we get the book?" And he said, "Go to Barnes and Noble." His book wasn't in Barnes and Noble, but it was on the Ingram, list. So it's crazy. I want to get back to Descending Thirds. I find this fascinating. I love the cover, by the way. Definitely a romance novel. And I was joking around in the beginning. I was sounding like La Fontaine, Don La Fontaine, who did all the movie trailers. In a world of passion, one woman stands alone. How hard or easy was that to write? Because I hear this all the time from creative people. They get excited and they're like, boom, and it just flows like water. The woman who wrote Twilight, she actually started on chapter 13 and worked backwards. I mean, what was it for you? What was the muse? What was the excitement?
It was okay. My partner was pregnant with our daughter, Gabrielle. And during that point, I became so prolific. It was the gestation or something. I don't know. But I first slapped this thing together as a screenplay, and it became the outline for the book. So I wrote the screenplay first, so I had an idea. But then when I wrote the book, it literally turned into something completely other than what I expected. And it was
Right.
just sort of flowed me. After she was born, I had her in the Bjorn. I'm on the treadmill with her, rewriting things in my head. I'm on the typewriter with her on the Bjorn, rewriting the whole thing. And it really did just come to me. I had every agency, ICM, CAA, William Morris, you name it, wanted that book. It had the best
Wow.
cover you could possibly believe. And I even had one of those Hollywood stories where my agent's assistant called me and she said, I'm at this apartment at this party and your manuscript is being talked about. And this other guy actually has a copy of your manuscript here. So it was very like New York. Whoa.
Yeah.
I had settled with William Morris in New York, and my agent had said, if you don't get 7 figures for this, I'll eat my shoe. Neither of those things happened. And it took me 25 years had been set up as a film through Linda Oakes and Bandiera Entertainment, and we had Ashley Judd as the lead at
Right.
that time. And it went through turnaround and all of that stuff. And the book never got published. And when I found my manager today, Canachity, when he read the book, he's like, this is the best book I've read in 5 years.
Wow.
Yeah. So I was very excited. Somebody finally saw what everybody saw 25 years ago. And I did many, many revisions because I'm a person who believes in just vomiting out your first draft,
Yeah.
your first whatever. My first cut of movies are usually 7 hours long. And
Yeah.
then go and refine, revise. I'm a complete, like, frame by frame. It's called painting at the end. And that's how my work process goes.
Wow.
You and I are the same way. I throw it on the wall. You just get it all out. Don't edit, put the swear words in if you want. Don't worry about punctuation or grammar. Just get it out. And I got to tell you what helped me immensely. I took a lot of acting classes and comedy classes and things like that, and acting, and I performed on stage. I've done a lot of different things, commercials and stuff. And I got to tell you, I became a master of writing dialogue. And it took a while, everybody wants to write a monologue and it doesn't work that way. It's a volleyball game. It's back and forth. And that brings the humanity into our writing, I believe. Do you agree on that one?
I mean, everything flows from us. We create. It becomes, a wonderful sort of like what I call the groundwork. And then, like I said, layering,
Right.
devising tapestry woven in, all of those wonderful things. I cannot say enough about when you were talking about people getting professional tools. I edit my own films because that's where the magic lies. That's where the story lies.
Right.
I've written a script and then steal scenes from the first part of the script to the end of the script when you're editing. You can do all kinds of things to know what you're doing.
It's true.
And so, every part of the creative process for me is just a big high. Although I describe it this way, writing a book is like smoking weed. Making a film is like taking acid.
I I've as someone who's done ayahuasca and peyote, as well as, the cannabis ceremonies with the Native Americans, I can concur with your assessment. Um, this is interesting. Oh, and by the way, we've had Ken Atchity on our show. Thank you, Ken. It's been amazing. He is a true champion of this work, and I'll tell you, you may not know this about him, but he did a romance series in Canada, a series of like 16. I don't know if it was films or short, uh, TV shows where it was back to back romance and all this. So I think he has a soft spot for romance writers, just a wee bit. Uh,
Yeah.
and the story of him and his wife finally being able to be together is also very touching as well. Big shout out to you, Ken. Thank you. Um, I want to get back into the creative process. And when did you feel safe being able to start doing more LGBTQ style films? Or is that still an issue?
No, I mean, I essentially tried to do the film industry and the TV industry on its terms for like 10 years. Did all the meetings, took every lunch meeting, met with everybody that my agents wanted me to, all of that stuff. And I always say it's like the fast track to the slow no. They're like, get me your script right now. And then they don't read it for 5 months,
Yeah.
And it became very debilitating to me what ended up happening with that. So I had done Claire of the Moon through private investors, and then discovered you can't really make any money in these films after a certain point because the market isn't big enough and you don't have the marketing dollars to make it big enough.
Right.
So as I continued on, I did a documentary about my ex-partners and my son, Nicholas, called Little Man, and was able to get the funding through the one source, David Bonette, who used to own GeoCities, and sold it and became a trillionaire. And he funded that entire documentary. So I was very lucky in that way. And from there, almost everything I did was donor based and donor funded, every project that I had done. And it was very, very difficult at first to do that. But once I started getting a track record, it became much easier for me to actually make my own films. I'm the boss. It lives or dies with me. But I don't have to deal with the film industry. I don't have to go and do all the more that get you nowhere. But it's absolutely essential for what I want to have happen with Descending Third. The best format would be a 9-part miniseries, which I've already created, and that's the way this story should really be told.
Yeah.
Stories.
Netflix has been quite the champion of a lot of films like these. And I also think this is something very powerful. The film industry has become fractured because the audience has gotten more diverse. And so, y- you know, everything has gone off on its own. So I'm more conservative. So, I see the conservative films over here. And then I see a lot of the LGBTQ and what they call woke, wokeism over here. And then I see science fiction over there. So it used to be there were just 4 or 5 studios cranking out, very marketable, very mainstream films. And now we have all these little side hustle type of shows. We had Matt Bush on. He works with George Lucas for many, many years. He's a Star Wars artist, board artist, and illustrator. And he went off and started his own film called Aladdin 3477. And it's got a Star Wars kind of feel to it, but it's like the story of Aladdin, from the Arabian Nights. And here's the amazing part, the production is on par with Lucasfilm. And it was just a bunch of them who work in the industry who decided to do an independent, film. And it's 3 parts. Star Trek fans also put together something called Star Trek Continues, as if the original classic Star Trek never went off the air, and they continue for another season. And it's mind-blowingly accurate, right down to the 3-to-4 ratio frame, as well as the sets. The people who worked on the original show asked to be included in it. So you're seeing all these fan base films splint off, for independent film reviews and festivals. Michigan has a huge film festival right now. Uh, it's just really powerful. Are you excited by this? Because, we're the old guard. Let's be honest. Everybody makes jokes about boomers now, but we were the ones who saw through, the bumpy times when, a film didn't get seen. And finally, we now have awards for this stuff.
Yeah, exactly. I think it's been a very, for a period of time, the LGBT festivals were fabulous for filmmakers that were gay, like myself. I was
Right.
opening at the DGA. I always play the Castro and Frameline. But now those movies are being pushed aside for Hollywood or mini majors to make their films for $20 million, and they have Julianne Moore in it and everybody else who people know.
Yeah.
Those are what's being played at our festivals, and our filmmakers. I know many filmmakers and myself who are now being pushed aside, and now Outfest doesn't even exist anymore. It's gone under because we did become, I think, we had our huge 15 minutes of fame, and it lasted us 30 some odd years. But now we are so integrated into the fabric of every television show, there's a gay character. It's just like we literally are everywhere. And so we don't stand out as a minority other than the fact that it's very, very difficult to get our films funded. Yeah. It's a fascinating time. I think that like I said, the internet has so leveled the playing field. As you said, you can get any kind of working, people can get Premiere Pro, pay $50 a month, and they have a professional editing system.
Right.
So it's like what you were saying. But the other thing is then there's all of the materials, and there's no quality.
No quality control.
Good anymore or not.
Yeah.
There's so many people doing things that they, aren't quite equipped well enough to do.
It's interesting because, back in the day, a film camera cost minimum $25,000. That was a cheap one. Now you can get a really good camera for $3,000. It's amazing. Um, I like what you said though, because this is opening up the doors for everybody to be creative. But like William Shakespeare said, not everyone can be a master. So if you want to stand out, like I try to do with this podcast, is be the highest level of professionalism, do something great or different that no one else is doing. Find your niche, which I think you have. Romance is your niche. And just beat the hell out of it. Sorry to say it that way, but it's like, that's your passion, man. It's like,
Well, the whole thing about Descending Thirds is the story is literally at what price, glory, fame, success. What are you willing to do to, become at the zenith of your particular field? Classical music is a very narrow field. Very few can be successful. So what are you willing to do to stand out and make things happen? And that's the story. The female lead, Alexandra, it falls in love with two different brothers. One of the brothers is adopted. One is a genius, a prodigy, and the other one is just got a genius for being charming and can deliver the product and make it sound much better than it actually is, just because he's so charming and sellable and packageable. And
right.
An area that we all struggle with, whether we're filmmakers, artists, you name it. You can be a CEO for a business. What are you willing to do to succeed?
Yeah.
What are you willing to sell? What part of your soul are you willing to sell? That sort of thing. So,
do you have a trailer for this that I can run?
Yes, a book trailer that we're so proud of because we used an AI artist. He's brilliant. Daniel Manza, I think is his last name. I found him off of, one of the work boards, and this guy created a universe that my book is. And at descendingthirds.com, www.descendingthirds.com, you can see the book trailer we did, and it's just another one of those things. This is new AI. Making characters is very, very interesting in AI right now. But yeah, I'm so proud of the book trailer.
I'm going to show the trailer right now. Roll the tape.
Alexandra von Triesen is a gifted and passionate pianist. Sebastian is a fiery performer whose flawed humanity reveals a charming Lothario. Alexandra can't deny her attraction. He is ferociously handsome, but not a distraction her burgeoning career can afford. But while Sebastian is in Europe on tour, Conrad, Sebastian's adopted brother, returns home. Deeply gifted, Conrad's a genuine prodigy whose only passion is his music. Until he meets Alexandra. They speak an altogether new language, far more intense than words.
He did do a fantastic job. That's beautifully done.
Yes, I know. I'm really stoked about it. I think it really sells the book well.
Awesome. Let's talk about Coming Out for Love. I saw this and found it very interesting. The production is very high on the show. I was very impressed. We'll show a clip of that as well. But how did that get started? How did that evolve?
Well, it was my daughter, who, by the way, Sound of Music was her favorite thing for a year. When she was like 4 or whatever it was, she made me literally fast forward to every musical number. She wouldn't look at anything else. She just wanted the musical numbers for an entire year. So that's my Sound of Music story. Coming Out for Love came about because she and I used to watch The Bachelor together. And one day she said to me, "Mommy, I don't understand. Why aren't there 2 women? Why is it, why aren't they like you and Mama?" And I was like, "Oh my God, we need a lesbian bachelorette." It took me 15 years to make it, but the way I got it made was a fan of A Perfect Ending, one of my films, saw the film, and it basically healed her in her life from her own issues. She very much lived the same life as the main lead in that book. She ended
Yeah.
up funding the entire show because she felt like A Perfect Ending saved her life. So
Wow.
my films have had a very healing effect on people, and the response to them has been really, really lovely like that. And so Joanne Millar is the other executive producer. She funded the entire show. We shot it in Palm Springs, and I'm the most proud of it because it's a snapshot of our community. 16 beautiful, gorgeous young women,
Mhm.
lesbian, some bisexual, you name it. They're polyamory, all kinds of things. And 19 incredible guest judges, including Carolyn Giuliani, who's one of my favorite guests
You're right.
on one of the episodes. And it shows us as a very multi-diverse, multi-talented, very cool community, and all led by Jessica Clark, who's our host, who was also in A Perfect Ending. Most fun on this set, just like I did on A Perfect Ending because of Jessica. She's amazing. She's sort of like our Padma Lakshmi and Pat Deely all rolled into one. And she really, really helps carry the soul of the show.
Wow. Well, we're going to show the trailer for the show, Coming Out for Love. Here we go. Roll the tape.
We're in Palm Springs, California, to bring you a groundbreaking new dating competition show. We have one LGBTQ lead.
Amber is a former ball player, social media influencer, actor, and activist. Her videos have been viewed over 144 million times.
And 16 women who love women.
Try to find a little love out here, get a little connection.
I am so single.
I do want to find that one person and spend my life with them.
Then I've been dating dudes, it really isn't doing anything for me. So yeah, let's find love.
I've been on Hinge, Bumble.
What I really, really want to find is love.
And I just got a relationship 2 weeks ago, so I'm on the prowl.
Tinder, Cheese Spa, that's the one for Latinos, eh?
Queer people deserve to be seen on laptop screens and TV screens and stuff. We deserve to be seen.
I need help.
All staying together under the same roof, the magnificent Palm Palace.
Each of our amazing women has a chance to find love and win a once-in-a-lifetime vacation with Olivia, the travel company for LGBTQ+ women.
Our lead will have to take a deep dive into intimacy to form new connections and hopefully a true love match as the women compete for the ultimate key to her closet.
Some of our women are here to find love.
Hopefully I fall in love with her. Hopefully she falls in love with me.
Well, I'm still in the closet. So I need to be honest with myself. And trust me when I say this, she made it a lot easier.
We had a really, really great time in that hot tub, at night, that lightning, that, glass of wine, and just had a very, very nice conversation.
I was like, okay, cool. If this is what we're doing. I saw her first, so.
And some women are here to have a good time. The stakes are high. The locations are beautiful. And the issues are real.
Hey, I think y'all need to
Like, I fucking mean it. Black people and the people of color tell you how they feel. You listen. You don't tell them that the way they feel is wrong.
Other that behavior people, like, we are less. We are nothing.
Сейчас настолько проще стало жить, боже.
I'm Jessica Clark, your out, queer, lesbian host, and this is Coming Out for Love.
Like I said before, the production on that show is really, really well done. I love everybody seems beautiful. It's like the beautiful people. I love it. We love the beautiful people. It's amazing. And your time has come. I just want to say that your time has come. God bless. Thank you.
It's a lot of work, but let me tell you, I am the happiest person that I know because I love what I do.
Yeah. You can see when people are doing the work that they were put on earth to do. I hate to say it. No, I don't hate to say it that way. I've lived my life that way. And I think the people who are snappy and snooty and nasty, they haven't achieved what you've achieved, which is this calmness in the storm because you're doing what you love. You're doing what you're meant to do. So I love it.
Very, very grateful human.
Awesome. How do we get a hold of you? Where do we go?
Go to www.NicoleConnFilmsGlobal.com. All my films are there. Everything that I've done is there. Also, comingoutforlove.com, descendingthirds.com, and my YouTube channel, Nicole Conn Films Global.
Awesome. Excellent. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Nicole, for being on Awakened Nation. I'm not going to let you go just yet, though. I have 3 lightning round questions. My first question is, what do you say to people who are against these kind of films? What would you say in the most loving way you could?
Say, firstly, go see the last film I made, More Beautiful for Having Been Broken. You will see love come out of a very special needs young boy, played by a very special needs young actor, Gail Farron. I'm really proud of that film because while it is a love story between the 2 female leads, that isn't what it's really about. It's really about how love connects us and heals us in so many different ways. And I would ask them to see that film because I think it's the most inviting for somebody who may feel like they have issues or have some sort of homophobia. We are your sisters, we are your daughters, we are your mothers, we are your friends. And we are just people who love.
Yeah. My second question is, if you were to pass away tomorrow, what would you like to tell your children and your partner as well?
My children, I would like to tell, out of everything that I have done, and it's written this way in my biography, mother is my number 1 first role. I love my kids with everything in me. I love my stepkids as if they are my own. Somebody said, well, why do you always say stepdaughter? I never want to step on people's, toes, but those kids are like my kids. I love them. And the most important job I've done is being your mom.
Yeah. God bless. That's awesome. My last question is, out of everything you've done, what is your favorite memory?
I love my kids with everything in me. Or red letter than that. But I also have a lot of read what I call my top 10 nights of life, and some of them are my premieres that I've had. But the 2 most important were the birth of my son and daughter, for sure.
Wow. Ken Roshan, he publishes a series of books through the years under the title Dr. Smiley, because he makes you come out and just smile. He gets people to light up, and I've been in his books and didn't know I was in his books. And but he did a book called My First 60 Years, my life so far. And I think you should do that as a film, of family and friends and people. My life so far. And
To be doing an AI version of my memoirs called Breathing with Fire. 1,029 cautionary tales from all the incredible experiences I've had in my lifetime, multiple lifetimes I've had on this planet for the last 6 years.
Nicole, thank you for being on Awakened Nation. I love the work you're doing, and thank you. I feel incredibly honored that you were on my show today.
Thank you for having me. I really, really appreciate it. Like I said, I love your story.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Hey, everybody, don't forget to tune in next week. We're going to have another fantastic guest here on Awakened Nation. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and please leave a review on Apple if you can, Apple Podcasts. Until then, until next week, bye-bye for now. And thank you once again, Nicole, for being on Awakened Nation. Bye-bye for now.
Thank you so much for being a big part of the Awakened Nation movement. This is how you can help me and our extraordinary guests. If you guys enjoyed this episode, please like and subscribe and share this episode out on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And let's grow this movement by word of mouth. Our success is because of you. Thank you, and see you next week.